how did you get into working in this business then?
I actually started off, funny enough, rapping, and I was looking for a way to. I wasn't happy with the different kind of instrumentals I was hearing, so I kind of thought, it'd be good to get into learning how to do it myself. I was actually doing a kind of IT course at the time after I finished school, because I finished school and took a year out, and during that year out, I actually came across a piece of software called Hip Hop EJ. I don't know if anyone remembers EJ. It's kind of like the old PlayStation type of kind of looped stuff, make your own stuff, and it kind of started from there really. So from that I thought, okay, what is this? It does multi-track. What is multi-track? And I came across my first copy of Sound and Sound, which I kind of went through. I didn't understand anything in it, but I kind of read it back to back. I was that kind of hungry to learn about it. So from that I then found courses that actually taught music tech. And at the time, this is like 1997. At the time it was like Western College and Brunel, City of Bristol College, whatever in Bristol, were the only two courses like in the Southwest that were halfway decent, and Western was like way ahead of all the other courses. This was a BTEC. So I went to Filton College, did my GCSEs again because I failed the first time around, in order to get into Western basically, and do the BTEC course. And that was a 2-year course, and yeah, kind of just, Western kind of gave me a great foundation for, what I do now.
Yeah. So after your course or during your course, what opportunities were you given to be able to get into doing it now?
I think because you got a lot of different types of courses, and being that I'm now head engineer and studio manager here at Modern World, I kind of see all the kids that leave the schools and see what people get. And you got music tech courses which kind of give you a broad range of knowledge, but they're not necessarily focused in one certain area. You kind of go to some of the more expensive, like ridiculously expensive private colleges for that kind of thing. But the reason I bring this up is because I came through Western College. It was kind of, Western gave me a great overall knowledge of everything. But it's kind of up to you to decide, because there's so many different things you can do in the field of audio, whether it's, stuff for the net, stuff for film, stuff for broadcast, live. There's loads of different things. So for me, the engineering part, just when I first saw SSL console, that kind of thing, it just blew me away, and I just like, that's what I want to do, that's where I want to sit. So you kind of, on a music tech course or degree, BTEC, wherever it is, you have to kind of have a thirst to know and a hunger to do the engineering side of things, to be honest with you. And that comes from yourself, not really, the course won't give you that. The course will give you a foundation, and then it's up to you guys to then do your own research into, who are the top guys, recording guys, find out if they've done any interviews, if they got any videos out there, read up on their techniques, study the music that they release. For me, my first kind of love is mixing more than tracking. Tracking's cool, sometimes I have fun, but mixing is what I love. So for me, I'm always, I'm the guy that as soon as a CD comes out, I'm looking at the credits to find out who mixed it, if I like the sound of the song, where it was mixed, what studio, what equipment they've got there, that kind of thing. That's the kind of hunger that I always had.
What advice would you give to a student that would be wanting to work in this sort
I mean,
of field?
what I'd say the most, as far as recording studios are concerned, is there's a very few people that earn big bucks when you work in a studio. There's very few elite mixing engineers who tend to, and tracking engineers that are kind of attached to a big producer. But a lot of the mixing engineers who get like $5,000 a song and that kind of thing, just to mix one song. There's not that many of them. So it's never actually going to be about money doing this. If you ever think it's going to be, you do it because you love it, and you love being involved in music, and you love, whether it's bands you love working with, whether it's the kind of the more technical side you love working on. So that's one of the things I'd say, and you're also dealing with other people that really love it, so it's quite competitive. and you have this whole hierarchy of the way you, in most times, work your way through to being the head engineer, whatever it is you want to do, producing. Usually follows the whole T-boy intern thing, and then from that you then move on to assisting. Back in the days you'd move on to cutting tape and all this kind of thing before you can even get in and start assisting. So from that you move on to assisting. From assisting you then move on to engineering yourself and projects, and that's where you can kind of decide once you're engineering. You know, you can do it all, tracking and mixing. Some people can go off and focus on mixing. Some people love tracking. Then you also have some people that their actual end goal is to be a producer, and then they move on using all the stuff they've learned and move on to producing, and then someone else comes up and engineers for them. So I guess you decide which way you want to go, but there's kind of this whole, and a lot of times you find people that went through this whole kind of slog, and they'll make sure that you go through the same punishments that they went through. Do you know what I mean? But it's kind of like a rite of passage thing, which I don't really kind of agree with it. If someone's good, just give them a chance. Do you know what I mean?
So would you say it's like, if you had the chance, you would just go up and make tea to begin with, like sort of thing, just go up and
That's what you need to do.
Because you need to know the people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even really about. It's just kind of, that's what's always been done, and I know these days you got people doing a lot of stuff at home, and you know, and in the computers. So a lot of people don't actually know the kind of studio way of working, and so it's always been that trust is like the biggest thing, really, I guess, with producers and engineers. So before they can even trust you coming into the control room and touching anything regarding, you know, music, they kind of test you to see kind of where your head is at, how you handle little jobs, you know, whether you complain, whether you do them quick, where they say, you know, go and reorganize the CDs upstairs, please, alphabetical order. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or sort the DVDs out. If you go up and you do it straight away and you come back and like, you're done already, then like, this kid's like, he shows that he's kind of, you know, he's on it. And then the next thing they start then kind of building this little rapport with you and trusting you. Then the next thing you're like, oh, you know, do you want to come in and watch this guy just doing this thing, and learn, or could you go and move the mics for me? If you can't even do the simplest job first, they won't even trust you to move the mic, you know. So yeah. You can keep those suits and those boots. You can keep your